God's plan for you. First and foremost, we must understand that God's plan is rooted in purpose, not preference. Understanding that God's plan often transcends our personal desires and preferences is a fundamental truth that can guide us toward a more fulfilling life. In a world where comfort and convenience are often prioritized, we must realize that our greatest achievements often lie beyond our immediate desires. When we confine ourselves to what feels comfortable, we may miss the deeper purpose for which we were created. God's plan is a divine blueprint that extends far beyond our limited understanding and temporary inclinations. Each of us is designed for a specific purpose, and this purpose often requires us to step outside our comfort zones. It challenges us to embrace the unknown and to trust in something greater than ourselves. Consider the many figures in history and scripture who exemplified this principle. They faced obstacles and uncertainties that tested their resolve, yet they pressed on, guided by a vision far beyond their personal preferences. Their willingness to pursue purpose over preference not only transformed their own lives, but also impacted countless others. When we choose purpose over preference, we align ourselves with God's will, opening doors to opportunities that we could never have imagined. This alignment requires a willingness to let go of our preconceived notions of happiness and success. Instead of focusing solely on what makes us comfortable, we should ask ourselves, what is God calling me to do? This question shifts our perspective from self-centered desires to a broader, more meaningful mission. We may find ourselves drawn toward tasks and roles that challenge us, but ultimately lead to greater fulfillment. Moreover, the pursuit of purpose often brings about growth. It stretches us in ways that comfort cannot. When we face challenges head-on, we develop resilience and strength. We learn to rely on our faith and to trust in God's guidance. This process of growth, though uncomfortable, is where transformation occurs. It's essential to recognize that discomfort can be a sign of growth, a catalyst for positive change. Embracing this discomfort with the understanding that we are pursuing a greater purpose can lead to profound personal development. Seeking purpose over preference invites us to explore our true potential. It encourages us to venture into areas that may seem daunting but promise incredible rewards. God's plan often calls us to be more than we ever thought possible, pushing us beyond our limitations and urging us to dream bigger. In this journey, we discover that fulfillment does not come from merely chasing after what is easy or enjoyable, but from aligning our lives with the divine purpose that God has laid out for us. This alignment leads us to a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment that far surpasses any fleeting comfort we might seek. Secondly, let us discuss the importance of divine timing. Divine timing is a profound aspect of understanding God's plan for our lives. In a culture that often prioritizes instant gratification, we frequently struggle with the concept of waiting. We want what we want, and we want it now. Yet God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels inconvenient or frustrating to us. The truth is, His timing is rooted in His wisdom, and it reflects a divine orchestration that we may not fully comprehend at the moment. When we look at the stories of those who walked in faith before us, we see a recurring theme, the importance of waiting. From biblical figures like Abraham and Sarah, who waited decades for the promise of a child, to Joseph, who endured years of hardship before rising to prominence in Egypt, we learn that divine timing often requires patience. These individuals were not idle during their waiting periods. Rather, they were being prepared for what God had in store for them. Their character was refined, their faith deepened, and their resolve strengthened. It teaches us that the waiting itself can be a part of the preparation for the future that God has planned for us. When we find ourselves in a season of waiting, it's crucial to understand that it is not a time of inactivity. Instead, it is an opportunity for growth, reflection, and preparation. God may be working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances and equipping us for what lies ahead. This preparation often involves developing new skills, gaining insights, and strengthening relationships. While we may see waiting as a time of stagnation, God uses it as a time of development. Moreover, divine timing teaches us the value of trust. When we surrender our timeline to God, we acknowledge that He sees the bigger picture. He knows the right moment for our dreams and desires to come to fruition. It may not happen on our schedule, but it will happen according to His perfect plan. This requires us to cultivate a heart of trust and faith, recognizing that delays are not denials. Just because something is not happening right now does not mean it will never happen. God's plans are often set in motion long before we can see them materialize. In moments of impatience, it can be helpful to reflect on past experiences where God's timing proved to be beneficial. Think about times when you wanted something urgently, only to discover later that waiting was a blessing in disguise. Those experiences remind us that our understanding is limited and that God, in His infinite wisdom, knows what we need and when we need it. As we navigate our journeys, let us embrace the truth of divine timing. By relinquishing control and trusting in God's schedule, we open ourselves to the blessings that come when the time is right. It is in this surrender that we find peace, knowing that God is working all things together for our good, even when we cannot see the full picture. Moreover, each of us is uniquely designed for a specific purpose, and recognizing this truth is essential to understanding God's plan for our lives. This concept of unique design goes beyond simply acknowledging our individual strengths and talents. It emphasizes the intentionality behind our creation. Every aspect of who we are, our personality, our experiences, our passions, contributes to the unique role we are meant to play in the world. God's creation is not random, it is deliberate. We are not merely products of chance or circumstance. We are masterpieces crafted with care and intention. This understanding can empower us to embrace our individuality and appreciate the qualities that make us distinct. When we recognize that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, we begin to see our inherent value. This awareness fosters a sense of confidence in pursuing our purpose, as we understand that we have been equipped with everything we need to fulfill our divine calling. Moreover, understanding our unique design encourages us to reject the comparison trap that so often plagues us. In a world driven by social media and constant competition, it can be easy to look at others and feel inadequate. However, when we embrace our individuality, we understand that we have our own journey to walk. Just as no two fingerprints are the same, no two paths are identical. God has crafted each of us with unique experiences and perspectives, and this diversity enriches the tapestry of life. Rather than comparing ourselves to others, we should celebrate our uniqueness and the contributions we can make. In discovering our unique design, we are also called to be stewards of our gifts and talents. Each of us has a role to play in the larger story of humanity. This means actively using our abilities to serve others and to fulfill God's purpose. Whether through our careers, volunteer work, or personal relationships, we have the opportunity to make a positive impact. Embracing our unique design empowers us to step into our roles confidently, knowing that we are equipped to contribute to something greater than ourselves. Furthermore, embracing our uniqueness allows us to cultivate a deeper relationship with God. As we seek to understand our purpose, we draw closer to our Creator, who knows us intimately. Prayer and reflection become essential tools in this process, guiding us to discover our passions and aspirations. When we align our desires with God's plan, we find fulfillment and joy that come from living authentically. Finally, recognizing our unique design is an invitation to be bold in pursuing our passions. We must not shy away from the dreams that stir our hearts, for they are often indicators of our God-given purpose. Each of us has the potential to create, innovate, and inspire. By embracing our individuality, we can confidently pursue our calling and make a meaningful difference in the world. In doing so, we honor the Creator who designed us for a purpose, ultimately fulfilling the divine plan laid out for our lives. As we navigate through life, faith plays a pivotal role. Faith and trust are essential components in the journey of understanding and fulfilling God's plan for our lives. In a world filled with uncertainty and doubt, cultivating a strong faith can be both challenging and transformative. Faith is more than just belief. It is a deep-seated conviction that God is sovereign, loving, and has a unique purpose for each of us. Trusting in God's plan requires us to surrender our need for control and to rely on His wisdom, even when the path ahead seems unclear. When we embark on our personal journeys, we often encounter moments of doubt and confusion. We may question our choices, wonder about the future, and struggle with the fear of failure. However, it is precisely in these moments that our faith is put to the test. True faith means believing in God's goodness and plan for us, even when we cannot see the complete picture. It means taking steps forward, knowing that He is guiding our way. One of the most profound aspects of faith is its ability to provide peace in times of uncertainty. When we place our trust in God, we can experience a sense of calm amidst the storms of life. This peace comes from knowing that we are not navigating our paths alone. We have a divine guide who is intricately involved in our lives. As we deepen our relationship with God through prayer, worship, and study, our faith grows stronger, enabling us to face challenges with confidence and resilience. Moreover, faith allows us to embrace the journey of becoming who we were meant to be. It teaches us that the process of growth often involves detours and setbacks. However, with trust in God's plan, we can view these obstacles as opportunities for learning and development. Each challenge we face can strengthen our character and deepen our understanding of God's faithfulness. Just as gold is gold fire through fire, our faith is often strengthened through trials. The act of trusting God also requires a willingness to step out in faith. Even when it seems risky or daunting, we may feel prompted to take actions that go against our natural inclinations or societal expectations. However, it is in these moments of courage that we truly begin to see God's hand at work. When we take those steps, we not only grow in our faith, but also inspire others to do the same. Our willingness to trust and act becomes a testimony to the power of faith. Additionally, it is important to remember that faith is not a one-time decision, but a continuous journey. It requires daily surrender and a commitment to seeking God's will. As we navigate our lives, we must consistently return to Him, asking for guidance and clarity. This ongoing relationship fosters a deeper understanding of His purpose and strengthens our trust in His plan. Faith and trust are integral to navigating the complexities of life. By anchoring our hearts in faith, we can overcome doubts and fears, allowing God to lead us toward our intended purpose. As we learn to trust in His wisdom, we discover that His plans are always for our good, even when we cannot see the immediate results. Ultimately, it is this unwavering faith that empowers us to embrace the journey and step boldly into the future that God has prepared for us. Now, let's consider obstacles. Obstacles can often feel like roadblocks on our journey, but in reality, they can serve as valuable opportunities for growth and development in fulfilling God's plan for our lives. Life is inherently filled with challenges, some large and daunting, others small yet persistent. It is easy to become discouraged when faced with these obstacles, but if we shift our perspective, we can begin to view them as essential components of our personal and spiritual growth. God uses these challenges to shape us, refine us, and propel us toward our destiny. When we encounter obstacles, it's important to recognize that they are often designed to test our resolve and commitment to our purpose. These challenges can help clarify our goals, sharpen our skills, and deepen our faith. Rather than viewing difficulties as insurmountable barriers, we can see them as opportunities to strengthen our character and resilience. Each challenge we face becomes a lesson, teaching us more about ourselves and about God's faithfulness. Consider the story of a seed buried in the ground. For a time, it appears to be lost, trapped beneath layers of earth. However, it is during this time of darkness and struggle that the seed is germinating, drawing strength from the soil and preparing to break through to new life. In the same way, our struggles often serve a purpose. They cultivate our potential and prepare us for the blessings that await us on the other side. Furthermore, obstacles can lead us to seek guidance and support from others. During difficult times, we often reach out to family, friends, or mentors for help and encouragement. This interaction can deepen our relationships and foster a sense of community. We are not meant to navigate life alone. God has placed people in our lives to support and uplift us. Through shared experiences, we learn from one another and draw strength from our collective journeys. Additionally, facing obstacles can foster creativity and innovation. When we encounter challenges, we are often pushed to think outside the box and develop new solutions. This creative problem solving can lead to breakthroughs and new paths we may not have considered otherwise. Many successful individuals have attributed their achievements to the lessons learned from the challenges they faced along the way. These obstacles often illuminate alternative routes that align more closely with God's plan for our lives. It is also crucial to remember that every challenge we face has the potential to strengthen our faith. When we rely on God during tough times, we learn to trust in His provision and guidance. It is through these experiences that we develop a deeper relationship with Him. Our faith is not merely an abstract concept, it is forged in the fires of adversity. When we emerge from our trials, we carry with us a stronger faith and a clearer understanding of God's purpose for our lives. As we navigate the obstacles that arise in our journeys, let us choose to see them as opportunities rather than hindrances. By embracing the challenges and allowing them to shape us, we can emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with God's plan. Remember, it is often through the most difficult moments that we discover our true strength and resilience. God uses these experiences to prepare us for the incredible future that lies ahead. Embrace your obstacles. They are stepping stones toward your destiny. Finally, let's talk about your role in this plan. Active participation is a vital aspect of fulfilling God's plan for our lives. While it is essential to recognize that God has a divine blueprint for each of us, it is equally important to understand that we are called to engage actively in that plan. This means taking steps toward our goals, pursuing our passions, and aligning our actions with our faith. God's plan is not a passive endeavor. It requires our willingness to step out in faith and take action. First and foremost, active participation involves setting intentions and making choices that reflect our commitment to our purpose. This begins with self-reflection, understanding our strengths, passions, and the gifts that God has bestowed upon us. By identifying what excites us and where our talents lie, we can align our actions with our divine calling. Whether it is in our careers, relationships, or community involvement, we must intentionally seek opportunities to use our gifts for God's glory. This alignment between our actions and purpose creates a powerful synergy that propels us forward on our journey. Moreover, active participation often means stepping out of our comfort zones. It is easy to remain within the familiar, but growth often occurs when we challenge ourselves to venture into the unknown. This could mean taking on a new role at work, volunteering for a cause we are passionate about, or pursuing an educational opportunity that excites us. By embracing discomfort and uncertainty, we open ourselves to new possibilities and experiences that align with God's plan. These steps may seem small, but they can lead to significant changes in our lives and the lives of those around us. In addition to personal action, active participation also involves being part of a larger community. God's plan often unfolds through our interactions with others. Engaging in fellowship, whether through a church, support group, or volunteer organization, allows us to collaborate with like-minded individuals who share our values and goals. Together, we can accomplish much more than we could alone. By encouraging one another and sharing our experiences, we create a supportive environment that nurtures growth and fosters a sense of belonging. Furthermore, active participation requires a commitment to prayer and seeking God's guidance. As we take steps forward, it is crucial to remain connected to our source of strength. Prayer is not just a way to ask for help, it is a means of aligning our hearts with God's will. Through prayer, we gain clarity, wisdom, and the courage to take bold actions. This divine connection ensures that our participation is not merely driven by our own desires, but is instead guided by God's purpose. As we engage in active participation, we must also be prepared to face setbacks and challenges along the way. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and even failure. However, these experiences are part of the journey and should not deter us from our path. Each setback can serve as a learning opportunity, providing valuable insights that refine our understanding of God's plan. In conclusion, active participation is essential for fulfilling God's plan for our lives. By intentionally aligning our actions with our purpose, stepping out of our comfort zones, engaging with our communities, and remaining connected to God through prayer, we can play a vital role in the unfolding of our divine destiny. God has equipped each of us with unique gifts and talents. It is our responsibility to actively engage in His plan, knowing that our efforts are part of a much larger narrative. Let us embrace this call to action and step boldly into the future that God has prepared for us. Thank you